sound like a Moanin. This is a venting, nighttime recording. I don't know what I'll title it, but I think I'm going to keep pissing and moaning to God on camera. You hear me, Lord? Please, God. Just have something happen. Show me what to do. You know? I ain't afraid of work. I'll go work. Heck, I worked in a founder for 2.5 years. Doing the hardest job I've ever worked in my life, and I did it well. I'm glad I'm not there anymore because it was tearing down my health. But you know, guide me, Lord. Tell me where to go or something. I gotta make some type of money. I can't take it. Okay, it's wind. It's not ice. It's wind. I felt it that time. Blast my camper. That's the other thing about driving a big camper, especially in the winter. In the summer, it's not as bad. If you get windy days, you get wind gusts in between the tree breaks and stuff. But then, you know, you got a lot more foliage, so that breaks the wind up a lot more. In the winter, all the leaves are off the trees and stuff, so the wind's just whipping through everywhere, especially when you get big wind. And we're due for like 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts and stuff coming. And it's already starting because I can feel we're getting, I haven't checked what they are right now, but I'm going to guess we got 15, 20 mile an hour gusts because I can tell by when it hits me how much it pushes the camper. And because it's a big camper, well, not big, it's Class C, but it's like driving a sail in the wind, you know, it's boxy, you know, so when the wind, if you got side wind, when a gust happens, it pushes you, you know. There's some bright lights there. You brand new, that guy keeps them really clean. They sure looked like some clean headlights because they were blinding me. I gotta be thankful, even though I'm really in a tough situation. I know I'm pissing and moaning to God and on camera here tonight about all this stuff, but I'm still thankful for everything too, you know, because I could be in a lot worse situation. I'm thankful that I have this camper. I'm thankful it's running. I'm thankful that the heat's working and blowing out some warm air. And even that free, even though I didn't want to really go out here to the casino, I'm thankful for that too. It was free money that I got to turn into 40 real dollars, and it got me out to do something. And that's another thing I think that's been beating me down is being trapped in the camper. It's not like in the spring and summer and stuff, you know, where that guy had some exhaust roll rumbling there. You know, in the summer at least I get out of the camper more, you know, and on nice days I can, even if I ain't working, I can still go to the beach and swim in the lake or something, you know. Get out of the camper. I can go for a walk in the parks. I mean, sure, I could do that in the winter, but then you're freezing. You know, it just ain't the same. And I don't really have winter gear for taking hikes in the woods. And the only good warm boots I have are, ooh, splattered deer all over the road. Yuck, that was a slippery looking spot there. Sam, I must have hit that good guy because it was like, ugh. Thank you, Lord, for not having no critters jump in front of me. Please give me a safe journey back, and no critters along the way, and no bad roads. I sure appreciate that, Lord. I appreciate everything you do for me. And I see you working. I see you helping me. I see when you said you're going to provide, I know I see you keep providing, and just enough to keep me going. But it's still very stressful, and I don't want to stress no more. So it would be nice, Lord, if you could guide me or show me what it is I'm supposed to do for a living, or how to make an income working for you or doing whatever. I'm trying with this channel here, but I've got to do something, Lord. So guide me to something to where I can go work again and make an income. Because if I don't find something soon, Lord, it's all going to collapse. I'm already losing the storage unit, so, and I'm okay with that. I am not, and I am, you know. It sucks because I got so much sentimental stuff in the 2 units. My motorcycle and a lot of stuff that I've had for years. But I already told you, Lord, that that's what you want to happen. You know, if you have to lighten my load and have me start over. I don't like it. It sucks, but I'll deal with it, you know. But and I lost my storage units, you know, because they're supposed to be going to auction. You know, it's like they're holding out or something. Because then they told me they were already going to be on auction, and then they send me another letter, another text saying, "Oh, they're going on auction again." You know, but I ain't got no way to pay it or make payment plans or nothing, so I gotta accept it that it's going to be gone. Unless something big happens quick. Otherwise, you know, if I lose my storage units, that's one thing, but I don't want to lose my checking account, Lord. You know, I've had it for almost 40 years. And my one emergency credit card is maxed out. It was a $300 one. And I'm late on the payment for that now. I've been surviving if it wasn't for the churches and local people helping me and stuff, and a couple people on the channel help me, you know, and I appreciate it all. I do, but I really need you to do something, Lord, to help me. Either let me go back to work or have somebody hire me or something, you know. It's not like I'm not capable. I know my knees have been bugging me now, so I'm afraid that if I do any physical labor, I might blow out my knee, but I gotta do something. I talked to the county work program and stuff, the SNAP work program, whatever it is, about I gotta talk to the workforce center too. I gotta find out if there's like some schooling I could do for, you know, I figure computers or something where I could get a job that's remote maybe or something where I could work on a computer. And remote would be nice, but even if I get some more computer skills where I'm certified, I mean I'm pretty smart with computers, but I ain't certified with nothing, so it doesn't matter how smart I am. A lot of everybody wants certifications. Times have changed, boy. In the old days, you used to be able to, when I was younger, somebody would interview you or give you a shot at a job and see how smart you were and what you knew, you know. Like I know sheetrocking, roofing, electrical, I've done concrete, masonry, laid block, done roofs, built houses, I've done automotive, I've remodeled campers and vans, and you know, that are installed the whole solar system myself and all the batteries, the wires, all that stuff. And there ain't too much I don't know how to do, you know. Not saying I'm better than anybody else or a fathead or that, but before you can get jobs and do that now. Oh, you're not certified because of insurance. You know, we can't have you doing that. Some jobs do. Some jobs got it where their insurance covers it or whatever. I just haven't found those ones yet. You got anybody behind me? No. So I can stay in this lane. Otherwise, I'd move over to the slow lane. What else can I vent about? I need to vent more and get it out just because I've been feeling really crappy. Sorry, Lord, don't be holding it against me. But, yeah, I know you're that this is all part of the plan, whatever. I don't understand what the plan is, of course, because I'm just a puny little human. But I see you working hard. I see your hands and everything, you know. So I can see you got something going on. But I'm getting impatient, you know. I'm kind of freaking out here. You know, my whole world's collapsing around me, and I feel like I don't know. I don't want to offend you, but I feel kind that way, but I don't know how else to word it at the moment. Because I feel you telling me you don't want me to work normal jobs, you know, but I'm still applying for them and asking for you to make it okay, you know, but yet no one's hiring me, and that just blows my mind. You know, because I'm smarter than the average bear. So please, Lord, help me move forward. I know you've been helping with all this other stuff. You keep showing me with little different provisions. Just when I think something's going to collapse, just like with me going to lose my internet, you know. I was trying to mentally prepare for it, but it was freaking me out because I'm already so stressed out, and that helps me relieve a little stress when I can take my mind elsewhere watching stuff, or surfing the internet, or looking at. Helps for looking for jobs and stuff easier too in the camper, rather than me having to figure out the gas to burn to go to the library for their internet or something. Now, doing my video and editing, it makes sense to be at the library. Their internet's way faster, and it's warm, you know, and then I don't have to run the heat in the camper, or I can turn it way down depending on how cold it is. Like today, and well, I don't know how cold today is tomorrow, but the last couple of days I've been able to have the furnace off during the day and not burning diesel, you know, because the sun just kept it warm enough. You know, but we get cold weather coming again, and I got to run it. So then if I go to the library, you know, I at least run it like at 50 degrees or something, and so that way my food and stuff don't freeze in here, you know. The last thing I need is a stuff to freeze. But then it still saves fuel running it lower than that a little bit. And then, but then if I go to the library for the day, since I don't have work, at least that gives me from 9:30 in the morning till 8 at night on Monday through Thursday that they're open. They're only open till 5 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that gives me multiple hours to be in another different warm place and get stuff accomplished, what I can through the internet and stuff, you know, by being at the library, searching for jobs, editing videos. I wish I was in the library, kind of, because I like to make videos while I'm there, but I feel like I got to be so dang quiet because it's a library. I wish by the library wasn't in such a rural, like, secluded area. Because I wish they had, like, you know, I wish the library was, or Walmart was by library or something like that, you know, or more stores, because then I'd just stay camped in that area. That would save me so much more gas. But, you know, they stay in the heart of town because they're close to stores and stuff, so I can get food or whatever, and I go to the library because I have to, kind of. I'm just babbling. Sure hope you help me soon, Lord. I've been a good man all my life, and I keep helping people. I've been helping people since I've been a kid. I'm walking with you. You know, I always try to do what's right, even when it ain't easy. You know, there's a lot of times, tons of times throughout my life, where I always chose to do the right thing, even though it would have been easier to choose differently. You know, and been like, well, I wouldn't have to do. I know that's right, but I could still do this, and that wouldn't be too bad. Well, I didn't do that because I knew it wasn't right, you know. I had a lot of people not happy with me over that too, but I couldn't help it. What's right is right. It's like when my sisters would get in fights when we were kids with other kids and stuff, and then somebody would haul me into it because I'm the big brother with that. Well, rather than just sticking up for my sisters, you know, and fighting with somebody, I'd be asking questions. What happened? How did this start? You know, and then if I found out that they were trash talking or they started it, well, then I'd be like, well, how do you expect me to stick up for you if you're starting a problem? It'd be different if they're bullying you or picking on you. And of course, my sisters get upset with me because they just felt like I'm their big brother, and I should have stuck up for them. Well, I would. I wouldn't let no one beat on them or nothing, but I wasn't going to be fighting with somebody else when they're the one starting or something, you know. And when my two sisters would fight with each other, that one I didn't get involved with. Because I didn't want either of them to get mad at me for sticking up for brat. When they'd fight, I'd try to make fun of them to make them laugh so they couldn't fight. And I'd like be a sports commentator. I'd act like I was Howard Cosell or something, calling out the shots and oh, she pushed her, and now she pushed her back, and oh, there's a slap that missed, and they'd laugh sometimes, and then they'd tell me to shut up, but then it would lighten the mood, and then they wouldn't fight as much, and sometimes that diffused it, but they were always my sisters. I always looked at them as my sisters. They're my stepsisters, so they weren't blood related, but that never meant nothing to me. They were my sisters to me, and that's how my heart felt. I felt like they were my sisters, and I was raised different than them, and I got to know their dad really well because he became my stepdad, and I love him with all my heart. Wonderful man, and he was raising them on his own, and I don't know, all the background of their mom when they were with their mom and stuff, or that, but they were raised differently because my mom raised me to be pretty dang loyal to family and stuff, and my sisters, they were little when we all got together. I was like 12, and then or 10, I think I was 10 maybe. I had to be 10, yeah. I was like 10 or 9. And the girls were like 5 and 7 or something like that. And, so all our lives pretty much, I accepted them as my sisters right away. I was excited to have sisters. But now, my brother, he's always been different, and he's always marched to his own drum, kind of been against the man or anti-establishment or whatever. But I've always loved him and stuck up for him, Family, if he's growing his hair long and stuff, family might pick on him or something, I'd stick up for him, Stuck up for him all my life and trying to help him be a better person because he was pretty rotten. Not super rotten. He got worse through this years went on. And, when my mom died, things got really ugly. And I just can't be around him, I've tried, and, I'm running out of life. I'm 57, so I gotta be happy, and I ain't gonna allow negative people in my life. And I'm trying to build something good and live my life. I wanna just have a peaceful life, stand strong with my faith, and keep my wonderful relationship with the Lord, and have it grow stronger and stronger. And I just want to give love, be loved, and just have peace, and enjoy life. So, man, my brother and my sisters, they all got squirrely when my mom died. It's just everybody got ugly, greedy, and bitchy about stuff, and complaining about how their lives were, and it's mom and dad's fault, and blah, 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 blah. And, well, that's my stepsisters, my sisters, they got their own bitches about our parents and how we were raised, because my parents partied and stuff when we were younger, so they weren't perfect either, but they were human beings, trying to figure it out just like the rest of us, and so luckily I was able to see that, so I don't hold nothing. My brother, on the other hand, he holds it against my mom for divorcing my biological dad, and that he basically blames that his whole life on that, and that's why he's messed up. Well, I'm not messed up. I'm a damn good man, and so he's got a cop-out excuse, and I argued with my brother about that because he thinks mom should have stayed with dad no matter what. I told him he's nuts. I said, I'm glad mom left dad. I love my dad. My dad had great, wonderful qualities, but he was an alcoholic, and he could become a violent alcoholic and be mean, and I'm glad my mom didn't stay with him. I still love my dad, no matter what. I don't justify any of the not nice things he did to my mom and stuff when we were younger, but he still had good qualities too, and he was my dad, and I loved him. But I love my mom, and I respect her 100%. I'm glad she left my dad. Why should she go through life being miserable? And my mom's telling me the same thing, when you're in relationships and stuff. If you're not treated right and you're not happy, don't go through life not being happy, And done something stupid when he was drinking. My mom might have died a lot sooner or something. Not that my dad would, intentionally do something like that, but when he'd drink, he'd get pretty aggressive, And not always, but a lot of the times. And anyway, and I think that my brother gets part of his stuff from my dad, maybe. I don't think it really came from my mom's side of the family, because my mom's side of the family, for the most part, they don't get aggressive like that. My dad did when he drank. And I wasn't drinking. He was a great guy. He was a little more quiet, But that's probably because he got so used to drinking, And so I noticed that with a lot of alcoholics that are alcoholics. When they're not drinking, they're quiet more or don't talk much. But my stepfather, he was an alcoholic too, but he was a different kind of alcoholic. Whereas my dad could get violent and stuff and not be nice. My stepdad, he was like, a fun drunk when he was drinking. He wanted to sing and have fun and tell stories and dance and stuff, And I never really seen him be ornery drunk or mean or that until later on in his life. But I think that was his health was breaking down, and I think that's when it started to get a little bit more ornery sometimes. He was a wonderful man, and I love him, and I wish he wouldn't have passed away either. But like when that wind pushes me. I'm just babbling on here. I'm gonna probably cut, and it hasn't cut out, so that's a good thing, because I'm gonna have to cut this one maybe into a couple different videos if it keeps recording. It doesn't shut out on me. Anyway, turn down that fan a little bit. See what's so hot up here. Yeah, so I got really lucky though. I mean, my biological father, my stepmom was a really nice lady. She was soft-spoken and soft-hearted and stuff. And my dad, the biological dad, he was cool too. He's not when he was drinking. I could be around him when he was drinking. There's a couple times he got snarly with me too, but after I got to a certain age, it only happened one more time, and then that was the end of that. I wasn't going to take me to snarliness no more. I'll tell that story on a different time. But anyway, like my biological father, a lot of my intelligence came from all my parents. All my intelligence comes from all my parents, because I learned from my biological father. I learned a lot of mechanical skills and stuff, and we would build models, and we'd build military models. We'd build other models too, but a lot of military models. And whether it be Navy ships, aircraft carriers, or fighter planes, and we did a lot of the older, like World War II stuff, probably more, and then some Vietnam era stuff. We didn't get into, like for the planes, we didn't get into jets too much. We were mostly prop plane models we built. But each model, my dad would have me read the instructions in the beginning. There's like multiple paragraphs that tell about the model you're building, And like if it was the Sherman Army tank, it would tell you about the Sherman Army tank, named after General Sherman or whatever, and then to tell you its history and its armor, how thick it was, and what size the turret cannon was, and the machine guns on it, and what its complement was, whether it was how many guys and shovels and all the different stuff. Then you build it, we'd paint them out, and build them and stuff. Same thing for the planes, the tanks, ships, Willys Jeeps, little 50mm cannons. And the thing is, I learned, it was like basically a model of the real stuff, just scaled down. So I learned a lot from my dad building models. We even built a big V8 engine one time that worked and everything, and you put batteries in after you put it all together, and where the heads were, it was clear, so you could see the pistons going up and down and stuff. That was a fun model. It showed me how an engine works, So I learned a lot of mechanical skills like that from my biological father. Now for both my moms, my stepmom and my mom, I got a lot of people skills, like because they were soft and caring and stuff, you know. And my stepmom was more quiet. You can't, you know. I learned critical skills from her too, but she just showed me that by leading by example, that she was always nice to people. And my mom was soft and nice too, but she, you know, she wouldn't let someone pull her around or push her around either. She stood up for herself, but she also taught me how to talk to people and how to read people and how to notice different things. My mom used to know everything we'd do when our kids were growing up. Me and my sisters were trying to figure out how she knew everything about us, you know. And we could come home from school and she knew we swore and stuff. So, and she didn't. What it was, we couldn't figure it out for the longest time because not all of it could be teachers calling or something. And she just knew it well. My mom said she had ESP, extrasensory perception, and she did. And I got it too. Only it's beyond that. I don't know how to explain it. But my mom, just from my mom, kind of teaching me, because I started asking her, "How is it?" I said, "Really, Mom? How is it you know?" You know, as I was getting a little bit older, before I got into junior high, I was near the end of grade school or something like that. Grade school to junior high, I started asking her, "How is it you know these things? You know, because you know stuff." She said, "Well, you're my son. You know." She said, "I know everything about you." And the girls, she learned from the years she grew up. She loved them girls. My mom was so happy to have my sisters because she always wanted girls, you know. And she didn't give birth to. Well, she gave birth to my sister Lisa, who was born before my brother and me, but she was born early and had an open spine because she didn't fully develop because she was born so early. And she ended up with like a water head or fluid in the head and a partial open spine and stuff. So she didn't make it long. She lived like 6 months or something like that. And but then after that, my mom just had my brother and me. She always wanted to have a girl. And anyway, so when she got married to my stepdad, who had 2 daughters, my mom was just tickled. She was so happy. She loved those girls so much. And we had a lot of good memories together as our big family. But back to where I was going with my parents and learning from them. Oh, my mom's extrasensory perception. When I was asking her how she knows it stuff so well, and she said, sometimes it might just be the way you comb your hair, you know. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, well, you know, regularly you might just comb it a normal way, you know, your normal way, whatever that is. But if you've done something that you shouldn't have done, you might comb your hair a little bit different. And that helped me understand what my mom was talking about. She's reading my body language, you know. And she wasn't exactly telling me exactly because she wanted to help me to learn how to do it, but she didn't want to tell me exactly because she still wanted to, you know, be able to read me and know what I was up to so she could keep raising me so I wouldn't get in too much trouble or something, you know. And but as time progressed, we discussed different stuff like that more, and I got really, really good at it. My mom was pretty impressed. She was like, "Wow, you really know how to read people really, really well." And I could tell she knew that I had kind of surpassed her, you know. But then when I met my karate master, that really helped too. He really taught me a lot more how to read people and energy, and I get a lot of it from God. God has given me a really good gift of discernment all my life, pretty much. I have been blinded, though, you know, especially when it comes to love and stuff. When I started getting interested in girls, you know, then discernment kind of went out the window. But I don't want to get too sidetracked. I can talk about that some other time. I want to talk about stay at my parents right now. So then my stepdad, he was an electronic engineer, and he liked to write poetry and read books and stuff. So I learned a whole nother set of skills from him too. And both my dads were both into boxing. My biological father was Golden Gloves for a while. But my stepdad, he went further. He was Golden Gloves. He started out boxing as a kid, got into Golden Gloves, then boxed in the Navy, and won gold medals boxing in the Navy and stuff. And and then my stepdad, he started started teaching me boxing when I was a teenager, and got boxing gloves and stuff, and got me heavy bag, speed bag, all that stuff. And then I'd pick his brain about his electronics and electronic engineer, and he was in the industry, from the beginning, because in the Vietnam War, he worked on some top secret stuff for stuff he was putting in the F-4 Phantoms and stuff that dealt with radar and stuff. I don't know if I probably shouldn't talk about it, because he couldn't talk about it for like 40 years, and then after he could talk about it, he started telling me some of the cool top secret stuff he worked on. It was pretty neat. But anyway, I learned a lot about electronics from him, and he was in the beginning of it. So out of the Vietnam, man, that wind really blasted me there. After we got out of Vietnam, he had a TV repair business, TV radio repair business for a while, and before he ever met my mom and stuff. And then I started picking his brain about electronics and having him teach me. In the beginning, the basic electronics, I just couldn't grasp a lot of stuff, and he tried so hard. And then it took me a while to start learning some of the stuff. Then I started learning, how to read schematics and what symbols on schematics meant. This was a resistor and this was a capacitor and stuff like that, and then the lines that connect stuff and everything, integrated circuits and stuff. So I learned a lot from him. But in the beginning, he was like designing stuff. When laser eyes first came out, he was designing that stuff, and the little laser eyes might be like, for like the Polka Dot Milk Company, we'll say, as the cartons are going by, each carton gets filled, and then the machine like squeezes it shut, seals it or whatever, and then puts so many cartons into one case or whatever, and it was all automated. Well, he was designing that stuff, that kind of stuff, for all different types of companies, and that, the laser eyes and how the laser eyes would communicate with the robotics or the assembly line and stuff. Yeah, so it was cool. I got to learn a lot from him, and I got to learn a lot from both dads about military history. Now my biological father, we built a lot of military models together, and he served, but he didn't serve during a war, so he wasn't like in didn't go into combat and stuff like that. Whereas my stepdad, he served in Vietnam, and not only was he in the Navy, he served on the USS Ranger, the USS Constellation, and his gung-ho ship was the USS Coral Sea. And got to hear a lot of stories, and I'm blessed that he opened up to me about stories that were really hard stories too, stuff people just don't want to think about, he talked to me about the real deal stuff, and I had the Zuni rocket incident on the USS Coral Sea, and maybe I'll talk about that in some other video. Otherwise, look it up. USS Coral Sea, CV-43 is the ship number, and the Zuni rocket incident was intense, man. Intense. But there's articles about it online you can find, and you guys had to go through a lot of stuff, man. Anyway, getting sidetracked here a little bit. So, hey, those are the ships he served on, and I would just soak knowledge, man. I love knowledge. That's why I like having my internet if I'm like in the situation I'm in, if I'm stressing out, and I'm feeling too overwhelmed with stress, where you just start wanting to jump out of yourself, you feel like you're trapped, you just want to bounce out of your skin or something. I think that's what they call anxiety. I don't know. I guess a lot more people have it nowadays. When I was a kid growing up, nobody had anxiety. So I don't know if they're putting something in the water or what. Anyway, I don't want to start sounding like a conspiracy theorist. But anyway, so if I start in the situation I'm in, because it's tough, it's really tough, and even though it's really tough, and I cry days, and when I wake up in the morning is the toughest to get motivated, keep going and keep trying, I'm taking a beat down, man. It's June, and now we're into December, and I've been out of work that long, and surviving. It's been hard because I have to accept help from people, and God told me that that's one of my problems is pride. I need to learn how to accept help, and that's part of what this is all about. I think I've learned, I hope so, and I hope I can get back on the income path here, but yeah, it's been really, really tough, and having the internet with my tablet and stuff, at least, so that way it's with me in the camper. So if I start getting squirrely in my brain because I'm like, I haven't got a job, and oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, I got bills, everything's collapsing around me. I might lose this, I might lose that. Blah, blah. That stuff starts really wearing down on a person. And when I start feeling it too much, especially in the night when I can't be constructive and go, to the library or hunt jobs or whatever, when it's nighttime and I can't sleep because I got all this stuff on my mind, well, then I can at least open up my have my tablet and go to YouTube or something. And I've said it in other earlier clips that I can pull up inspirational stuff to take my mind somewhere else, or I can watch Gordon Ramsay because I like to watch Gordon Ramsay cook and learn, and or I might want to learn about mechanics or something. Or I might try. Sometimes that's how I get smarter and smarter. I'll think of something I don't know, like. There's still one thing I can learn more, a couple things that I should start watching some videos on is HVAC. I understand how the compressor and the freon and stuff moves, so I'm getting that down pretty good. But it wouldn't hurt for me to look up some more videos and watch some more how-tos on that so I can understand the mechanics of it all and to get it down a little better. And the other thing is rotary motors, like the Winkle motors and stuff like that, and Mazda RX-7s and stuff, the rotary motors, the pistons, the way that thing works in there, it just bends my brain. I don't quite understand it. That's something I haven't grasped the concept of it. I've seen the breakdowns and 3D breakdowns and how it all moves and stuff, but I don't know, I'm just ain't feeling it. Maybe if I get my hands on a real one or something like that where I could put my hand over where the cylinder head is as the thing's spinning so I can feel how the compression pushes or draws, maybe that would make me understand it better or something. I don't know. But them are the kind of things I'll look up. I'll look up things I don't know. I'll try to think about something I don't know that I might find interesting, and then I'll try to pull it up on YouTube and watch about it and learn. And then what happens is when it's stuff that I haven't learned yet, and I've learned a lot now, so it's getting harder for me to find stuff to learn. But when I start learning stuff that's new to me, I start really soaking it in. I start watching more and more. Well, then my head starts hurting because I'm taking in all this new knowledge, and then I got to take a break from that because then I'll start getting a headache if I start cramming too much knowledge in my head all at once. I don't know if that happens with everybody else or not. And I say I have a semi-photographic memory. My stepdad, like with music and artists and songs and stuff, he was just mind blown by me. Like, he liked the song Ground Control to Major Tom. I think that Major Tom, maybe that's the name of it, I don't know. But that was one of them, and some other song. But when he would say a song that he was thinking over that, I'd start singing the lyrics and stuff. And song after song I'd do that, and he's like, and his eyes just got wide. He's like, how do you do that? Now some songs he'd know once he heard it, could hear it and go. But I was I'd start busting out lyrics for any song you name. And they said, how do you do that? Probably because I picked his brain so much about electronics. He was probably picking my brain about how do I remember all these lyrics and poetry and stuff like that, And I said, I don't know, Dad. It's once I get just absorb this knowledge in my head, it stays there. And it's kind of like when I was a kid. Younger people might not know what a Rolodex is, but a Rolodex had like a bunch of little business cards or little cards in it. They were 3x5s or whatever, and then they all clipped into this thing that would turn like a filing cabinet. And Dad had one that was a Rolodex that had all his business contacts in it, alphabet size. You could just twist the thing and flip through it to look for who you're looking for to contact. That was before we had all the digital stuff, And I told Dad, I said, in my brain, it's kind of like a Rolodex, There's, when I hear something or think of something, it's like I see all these files in my mind, and I just like flip through them and start opening up the different things that I remember, and then it starts all coming to me. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Now, I'm not totally photographic like some people. You can just tell a date and a time or something, and they can tell you where they were, what they were wearing, what they had for lunch that day. I cannot do that. At all. But with music and lyrics, especially lyrics and poetry, it just stays in my head for some reason, And it's not from reading books, because I'm a slower reader. You know, I can read and I have a large vocabulary, but I learn so much better from watching videos. You know, I just retain it so much faster as the video's playing. Whereas a book, I could watch a book on how to, say, build a car engine or something like that, and video as opposed to the book. The book, it could take me a year or two to figure it all out and get it down after reading it so many times because I read slow and I have to think about it and all this stuff. But man, I watch a video on it, and that video's an hour long. I got it. It's in my head. You know? But not 100% of it, but most of it stays in there. And then if I watch the video a couple more times, yeah, then it all starts staying in there. I'm just babbling on. It hasn't shut off, so that's a good thing. I'm getting a lot of recording time here. I should shut it off so this one doesn't get raised.